Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar, and this is Reads of the Week. We didn't do one last week, so you're actually going to get 2 weeks worth of books here, which is pretty hefty. I still got a whole lot of books I need to read. My Alterna books that I got like 2 weeks ago, they're just stacked up, waiting for me to take a look at them, but I haven't gotten to read them yet, and I don't know when I'm going to get the chance. I'm kind of binge reading here, and yeah, I think there's only one book I'm going to put in the bad pile. So we'll just start with that. I'm flipping through this big stack of books right now just to make sure. Yeah, I think there's just the one. I think there's just the one, and I just lost it. There it is. It's this one. Now I picked this up because it's an old image book, and sometimes those are really cool because they've got like some awesome art in it or whatever. But really, all this book has is whatever that is. It's kind of incomprehensible. She casts a spell that turns men into women or something, and then we flash back to Joan of Arc for whatever reason. Like, I don't even understand what this book is trying to do, what this book is about, but I've made fun of this panel, this page, like 3 times, and I'm going to keep making fun of it. Like, this is just terrible. Her poor back has broken. So this is the one book I'm going to put in the bad column. It's incomprehensible and the art's not good enough. In fact, there's like 5 different artists that worked on this book. It's a mess. Look at this. I'm sorry, Chuck Dixon, you didn't save it. You did some cool stuff in here because there's like it's trying to organize its plot around like Bible verses and stuff, and I think that's kind of cool. But the very premise of the book is just like, what am I even reading? Now, I think there's going to be a whole lot in the okay pile, so I'm just going to kind of start stacking this stuff up. Stack that up. Yeah, that definitely needs to go there. Honestly, should I put that in the okay pile? Hold on, I got a couple that I might provisionally put in the okay pile, which sounds really weird. Provisionally okay. Yeah, you know what? I think Rye has to go there too. Huh. This is you know what? Just there. I did it. I absolutely did it. All right, we have a ton of books in the OK pile. Some of them are going to be kind of near the top of the OKs. Some of them are not going to be near the top of the OKs. I think the first book across the OK line has got to be Cable number 2. Yeah, I think that's the right book to put here. This is exactly what it is. It's okay. Mired in Destiny. I don't know what the context of the story is. Cable's rocking a goatee, and it's just full of action, and the action is pretty good. The action is pretty well drawn. Art T. Bear did a decent job at this. There's some great little panels and stuff in it, but here's the problem. I don't know who all these people are. I don't know what they're doing. It's kind of incomprehensible. To me, as somebody who's just picking up Cable number 2 for the first time ever, because I sure didn't read this a long time ago, in 1993. Gosh, I couldn't afford a $2 comic book. That's obscene. Oh no, those are the ones I'm putting. Awesome. Let's see. Next up, I think I got to drop this Brigade number 1. Again, it's all right. There's some really cool looking stuff in here. Uh, I like the look on her face there. I like these eyes right here. Those are like action eyes, man. They've just like whoosh, over to the side, and then bam, gets run over like that. It's pretty cool. That explosion is just pretty dope looking. And there's a splash where they're breaking through the glass that was really cool looking. But here's kind of the problem that I had with the book. I don't really care about these characters. So even though I enjoyed the book, it's just kind of okay to me. Your mileage will probably vary if you have more of a sentimental attachment to these characters than I do. So don't consider this as like I'm saying, oh, this is like the bottom of the pile or something. It's not. This is not bad. It's just, in my opinion, kind of okay. Speaking of kind of okay, and maybe I should have put this one lower because I didn't really enjoy reading it, but I did enjoy. What I did enjoy is this is I think the art's by Carmine Infantino, but like just the clothes they're wearing, because you couldn't draw this in a modern comic book published by one of the big two. This would be prohibited. That dress is way too low cut. What is she even wearing? You know. But the actual action here, like, I don't even understand what's going on. Who is Gypsy Moth? What's going on? I don't really care about Jessica Drew that much. So the story just, it kind of fell flat with me after that. I think next we got to do the Mandarin True Believer reprint here. Which, while it's kind of fun seeing the Mandarin and Iron Man going at it, you know, especially because Iron Man 3, we didn't actually get to see the Mandarin going at it with Iron Man. So while I liked what happened in that movie, it was a little disappointing. The main reason this book is kind of getting rated so low is let me find a particularly egregious Fu Manchu page. I'm sorry, the Mandarin page, who's totally Dr. Fu Manchu. Because there is definitely some cringe in this art, like right there. Now, this book is full of just like some great action, and I don't want anybody to think it's not, because it absolutely is. Mostly, it's just this the Don Heck art just doesn't do much for me. The Mandarin never quite looks threatening. No matter what's going on, he just kind of looks goofy. And I feel like the Mandarin should never look goofy. Like, out of all possible villains, he should be one that never looks goofy. And that's my main beef with that book. Otherwise, I kind of enjoyed flipping through it and reading it. The Purple Man story, yeah. So yeah, I told you we had like 2 weeks worth of stuff here. Is interesting because he just talks everybody into beating Daredevil up. It's kind of fun because of that. But this part here at the beginning, I'm not sure that they can actually arrest him for this. He says, "Hey, give me some money." He's not robbing it. There's no gun. There's no demand. He's like, "Hey, man, fill this case with some money." "Yes, sir." "Don't stuff it too full, please. It's a new briefcase." Such a pleasant institution to do business with. "Hey, wait a minute." So then the guy like hits the alarm and they get the cops and whatever and they arrest him. I'm not sure what he did's actually illegal there. He's just like, "Hey, give me some money," and the guy gave him money. The only person here who has actually committed a crime is the clerk who filled up the briefcase. So anyway, he goes to court. They assign Matt Murdock as his attorney, and things spiral out of control from there. And you get some fun fighting. You get some Purple Man just casually ordering people around. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Hey, in the Mandarin book, there's this subplot with Happy trying to date Pepper Potts and stuff, and it's weird. Seeing, I don't know. I think Happy's face right there kind of sums up the that whole part of the book. I'm trying to remember. Was there something similar in this story? No, I think the Purple Man just like talks this lady into being his secretary, and that's kind of as far as that goes. Which for Purple Man seems like a weird thing to talk someone into. You can talk him into anything. "Be my secretary." Is the one you pick? Really? We are totally going to just drop Vampirella #7 in here. I just got done recording a review for this thing. This book is kind of incomprehensible. Like, unless you've been reading this from the beginning, if you went and you picked this up off the shelf right now, you would have no clue about anything in here. We're jumping back and forth between different time periods, or at least it kind of feels like we are. We're definitely jumping back and forth between places and characters and touching base on like 3 or 4 different plots. It's a mess. It is absolutely a mess. There's multiple artists working on the book, so we're not even artistically unified in it. This is definitely written for the trade. I should have said that in my review. Too late now. Lol. Oh well. I'm not even going to flip through this for you. Just grr. Sorry for that sudden jump. My headset beeped, so I'm going to have to go edit that out and then join this. I really hate this battery in my headset because it's getting really bad and dying. But I was saying something about how Vampirella #7 was incomprehensible. So there you go. It's definitely written for the trade. I probably should have said that in my review. I'm not going to flip through the book. If you want to go see it, just go watch the review. That's why I make those things, so you can go see these things and decide for yourself. Having read the book, like, I don't think I can recommend it to anybody who is not already reading Vampirella. Not the place you want to be when you're trying to sell books to people. I guess this Dracula one needs to be the next issue I put down. This is fun. It's that crazy, super earnest Marvel late 70s, early 80s stuff. This just probably isn't the issue I would have picked to represent why Dracula is evil. Like, I think I would have picked something earlier in the run. Maybe the cruise ship issue where Dracula's like on a cruise ship and Blade's going to blow up the cruise ship. Like, I might have went with that one. I think part of the reason why they have this book being reprinted is the Blade hype, because Blade is in this, and the other vampire hunters are not quite so much in it. But, yeah, it's solid. It's absolutely solid. I enjoyed the art. The writing's all right. Like, there's not a whole lot to complain about there. Oh, which one's next? You know what? I think I got to put Nightman #1 next. Definitely solidly okay. This is an origin story issue, and the villain he's chasing is really messed up. So you can see, like, Nightman is over here. He's like making a date with this pretty waitress. You know, that's fun. And then when we meet the villain, and I'm totally going to spoil this. It's a 30-year-old book. Deal with it. If you don't want to be spoiled by it, then you can just kind of stop here, fast forward like 30 seconds, and pick back up, and you should be fine. Oh, look, the villain. It's her. Except it's not. As Nightman is fighting the villain, Nightman realizes, oh, the villain cuts people's faces off and wears them. How messed up is that? How messed up is that? That's disgusting. It's kind of fun, but it's disgusting. I think I got to put this book here, Tomo, or Tomoe. I'm not quite sure which way to pronounce that. #0. It has Billy Tucci's involvement, which is why I picked it up. Really, the action in this is pretty solid. We kind of jump between like some past stuff and some present stuff, and the title character basically, by the end of the issue, assumes leadership of her ninja clan by defeating like this dude here who wants revenge. And I'm not going to spoil it beyond that. I mean, I think you kind of could have guessed that, because if you're into this kind of stuff, because you've probably already read like every other issue of this. But I had fun reading it. The action was good. The art could have been better, but boy, it had some pretty darn good pacing. And then I'm not really sure how to rank these two. Like, I almost put these in the awesome, but I don't think they're really awesome. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Rai #3. Seeing Rai Jin basically have to deal with the situation without, like, super powerful, omnipotent Rai hanging out with him was a lot of fun. Their dynamic is really starting to develop, and it's getting interesting. Good pacing. I liked it. I don't think I can call it great. Like, no, not great. I don't think I can call it awesome. And this, we've stopped meandering, so I got to give the book that. We're not meandering around in the story anymore. But on thinking about it after a couple of days, like, I don't know if I really feel this is awesome. Like, this is solid. It was a lot of fun to read. There's some great stuff. Orion finally gets to be awesome in the book. But whether that makes the book awesome in and of itself, I'm not sure. I still don't really like the Gamma Knife character. I feel like we should be further along in the story. Yeah, the pacing in this series after the Eschaton stuff showed up has been off. It's definitely been off. And maybe this is like the first issue that's going to get us back on track. I'm not sure. But we're going to put that kind of at the top of the awesome. So let's look at the okay again. We got all these books. I read a lot of books, all right? I read a lot of books. I read a lot in general. Some of these are definitely better than others. I'm trying to order them in like the order I would recommend these things in. To like a general reader, if you're like somebody I know pretty well, I could be like, oh dude, you totally want to read like Tomoe because of like this cool ninja action. All right, so we are at the threshold of awesome. We have crossed over. All right, we're there. Yeah, I don't know why I did that sound effect either. At the bottom of the threshold of awesome, we're going to put these kind of side by side. And I don't know how to rank them against each other. The writing in Gen 13 here maybe isn't so good, but boy, I flipped through this. There is some absolutely just gorgeous stuff going on in here. Let me find one. I love the facial expressions on this page. His expression, her change of expressions. It's just amazing. It's evocative. The whole J. Scott Campbell like style really just looks good in this book. It just looks so super solid. It's absolutely fantastic. Let me there's one more page I wanted to show. Yeah, that one. Oh, dude got wrecked. He absolutely got wrecked right there. It's great stuff. And the Batman Huntress one, I'm not super sold on the art. I think it's the coloring I'm having a problem with mentally. But the stuff that's happening in it, I hung on like every word bubble in this book. Okay, that's not true. There's this there's this like sequence of events that's like catching us up on Huntress's backstory here, and I didn't care. But the other stuff, I was super into. Like she goes to, this is like a wake or something for a dead relative, and the tension is palpable on these pages. The only other thing I'm going to knock it for is I think there's something off with the perspective when it comes to drawing cars. I think the angles are a little wrong here, and it's kind of consistently that way. Where's that? No, I can't find it. Was it the first page? No. Ah, here it is. Yeah, the police cars. Like something about the vehicles feels like they're at a wrong angle, like they're being drawn a little more above than they actually are, or something. I don't know. I don't care enough to sit down and try to break down like the angles and the lines and stuff like I do sometimes. If I did, I would have made a video just to review that book where I would have done that. And it's like a 30-year-old book. You know, it's a reprint of something ancient. So who cares? Batman: Curse of the White Knight, Book 6. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm having a lot of fun. The Batman stuff is just great. There's a lot of great action going on in here. There's a lot of interesting plot stuff happening. I dig it. I think we're running out of people for Sean Murphy to kill. That's my opinion. And then Unsacred, number 3. I had so many laughs reading this book. It did transition from being like a one-page gag book to like having some plots with gags. So that's kind of a odd transition. A lot of stories that start off as like gag strips turn into that. If you go back into like the history of webcomics, a lot of them did that. Exploitation Now, for example. So that's kind of the path this book's taken. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I just wasn't expecting it. So it came as a little bit of a surprise, but absolutely having a blast reading that book. The art is solid, very creative, very fun. It's cute when it needs to be cute. It's funny in a like kind of dirty way, but it's not like raunchy, you know? So I dig it. And finally, Once in Future number... Oh, also be 18 or older to read that book. And finally, number 1 book of the week, Once in Future number 6. If you remember me in this book, we started off with a pretty rocky start. Go watch my review of this thing. This book is the dopeness. The coloring, the art, the writing, it's all good. Number 1, Chief Rocker number 1 right here. You all have a great day. That's Reads of the Week. I'll take... I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, man. I'm just like, boom, this book was so good. Because I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I'll take a copy of that. Well, I already have a copy of that. I guess I'll take another copy of it. But you